Welcome back. In this lesson, moving forward, I'm going to talk about and introduce to you the concept of JavaFX. We have been working with the Java AWT and Java Swing, for example, when we talk about creating graphics, canvas, and so on. Here, the new concept called JavaFX is yet another powerful way of creating your graphic applications. So let's take a look at what really JavaFX is all about. JavaFX is simply a set of graphics and media packages, libraries, that enable developers to design, create, you can test, debug, and eventually deploy rich client applications that can operate consistently across diverse platforms. And that's the real power of JavaFX, as opposed to working with AWT, for example, or Java Swing. Some of the key features that I like to highlight regarding JavaFX is that it's a Java library that consists of different classes and interfaces that are written in pure Java code. It has something called a scene builder, and we can use the JavaFX scene builder to interactively design the graphical user interface. Existing Swing applications, and here's the real benefit by the way, can be updated with JavaFX features. So for instance, the Canvas API that enables drawing directly within an area of the JavaFX scene that consists of one graphical element, which is also known as the node. So when we work with the scene builder, we'll talk about something called a node. What can I build with JavaFX? I'm going to talk about several examples, but here with JavaFX you can build many types of applications. Typically they are network-aware applications that are developed across multiple platforms and display information in a high-performance modern user interface that feature audio, video, graphics, and animation. We can also embed and work with cascading style sheets, for example, which interact and integrate dynamically. So it's a very powerful platform. The scene graph within JavaFX is the starting point for constructing a JavaFX application. So before writing the actual program, we work within the scene graph. And all that is a hierarchical tree of nodes that represent all of the visual elements of the application's user interface. If by any chance you've worked with Visual Studio, for example, this is sort of like similar, but yet more powerful. It can handle input and can also be rendered. So everything that you can do in the scene graph, you create your application, you can handle input and you can also eventually render it. Difference between scene graph and AWT and also Swing. So unlike in Swing and Abstract Window Toolkit, which is the AWT, the JavaFX scene graph includes the graphics primitive, such as rectangles and text, in addition to having controls, layout containers, images, and media. So here you have some visual aspects to creating your application as opposed to just writing pure programs like we have been doing in the AWT and working with Swing briefly. So the scene graph also provides visually where you can create programs and yet results in being a more powerful way of creating graphics applications. So here's an example. As I mentioned earlier, JavaFX cascading style sheet, for instance, provides the ability to apply customized styling to the user interface of a JavaFX application without changing any of the application source code. So CSS can be applied to any node within the scene graph and are applied to the nodes asynchronously. JavaFX CSS styles can be easily assigned to the scene at runtime, allowing an application's appearance to dynamically change. So what do I mean by this? Let's take a look at visually so that it's easier to see and identify how within the scene graph you can work with CSS. So here's an example, right? So two demos that you can see. You can dynamically change the look and feel using the cascading style sheets. The visual UI tools, user interface tools, for example, are available through the JavaFX API, and they're built in by using nodes in the scene graph. So you can have the color button, for example, you can have the graphic button, you can have hyperlinks, you can have the choice boxes, the toggle buttons, the radio buttons, and so on. So JavaFX is a powerful way of creating graphics applications using the scene builder. In the next lesson, I'm going to demonstrate how to install JavaFX within your Eclipse editor, and then of course we'll create some programs as well. So hope this helps. Practice, know the key concept of JavaFX, know the features as well as the power of JavaFX. So with this, let's move to the next lesson.